In this chapter we're gonna see locators. Let's take a quick look of the most common locators used with Selenium to access elements. First locator is the ID. If we have a unique ID on the element, we can use it directly, because the main idea which stands behind the ID by convention is that the IDs are unique identifiers for the elements. So if the element have an ID, it's our go-to for selecting the element. If the element doesn't have an ID, we can use name. Some elements might have only name. It's good, just we need to be sure that the name is unique and it's not repeated somewhere in the page. If the element have a link, it might be button, it might be a link, we can use the link text to access the element, because it's expected that the link text is unique. Or we might use the partial link text, so part of the text might help us to access the element. We can use the CSS selectors, like the CSS class names, IDs, or some other CSS attributes we're gonna see later in detail. And the last one is the XPath. Many times the elements are not that easy to access, so we're using XPath, which is attached to some element, and in relation to this element we're using XPath to access the one that we need. We'll see later with examples. XPath stands for XML path, which is a completely separate language. Its notation is extensive, but we can use XPath to locate elements, and part of its syntax will be helpful for us. We'll see in the next videos how we can implement those locators.